The idea that AI will eliminate all jobs has become one of the biggest fears of the modern world, because artificial intelligence is rapidly entering almost every industry and changing the way humans work, communicate, create, and solve problems. But the reality is far more complex than the myth itself, because throughout history, every major technological revolution created panic among workers before, eventually transforming society in unexpected ways. And AI is following a similar path, although at a much faster speed than previous inventions, like electricity, computers, or the internet. Because when machines first entered factories during the Industrial Revolution, many people believed human labor would disappear forever. Yet over time, new industries, professions, and opportunities emerged that nobody could have imagined before. And today, AI is creating a similar wave of uncertainty, where people see robots writing articles, generating images, coding software, driving vehicles, and even performing customer support tasks, which naturally leads to the fear that human workers will become useless. But the truth is that AI is more likely to reshape jobs rather than completely erase humanity from the workforce, because most professions involve creativity, emotional intelligence, judgment, ethics, adaptability, social understanding, and real-world decision-making that machines still struggle to fully replicate. And even when AI becomes highly advanced, it usually works best as a tool that assists humans rather than replacing them entirely. Because businesses do not simply need output, they need trust, accountability, innovation, leadership, and relationships, which are deeply human qualities that cannot easily be automated. And one reason the myth spreads so quickly is because people often see isolated examples of automation and assume the entire workforce will collapse, such as when AI generates artwork or writes text. But they do not notice how many humans are still involved behind the scenes, including engineers, editors, designers, managers, trainers, data analysts, ethicists, cybersecurity experts, and content strategists, because every AI system itself creates a large ecosystem of human work around it. And while some repetitive jobs may decline, many new roles are already appearing, including prompt engineering, AI supervision, AI ethics consulting, machine learning operations, synthetic media editing, and AI-assisted research positions, which demonstrates that technological evolution rarely destroys work completely, but instead changes the skills society values most. And this pattern has repeated again and again across history, because when calculators became common, many feared mathematics teachers and accountants would disappear. Yet both professions still exist because humans adapted and focused on higher-level thinking rather than manual calculation. And when computers entered offices, some people believed paperwork jobs would vanish entirely. But instead, the digital economy created millions of careers in software, design, digital marketing, cybersecurity, cloud computing, online education, and social media management. And now AI is accelerating this cycle by automating repetitive tasks, so humans can focus more on strategy, creativity, communication, and innovation. Although the transition will not be painless, because certain industries are indeed more vulnerable than others, especially jobs that involve predictable routines with limited human interaction, such as basic data entry, repetitive manufacturing processes, simple customer service responses, and some administrative tasks. Because AI systems excel at pattern recognition and repetitive operations performed at large scale, meaning workers in those areas may need retraining or skill upgrades to remain competitive in the future workforce. But that does not mean all jobs disappear, because entirely new economic sectors often emerge when technology advances, and many jobs people perform today did not exist 20 years ago, including app developers, social media managers, YouTubers, esports professionals, drone operators, blockchain analysts, and content creators, which proves that human society continuously invents new forms of work as technology evolves, and AI itself is opening creative possibilities for entrepreneurs educators, artists, writers, filmmakers, and small business owners, who can now accomplish tasks faster and cheaper than before, enabling individuals with limited resources to compete with larger organizations. Because AI tools reduce barriers to entry and amplify human productivity, rather than simply replacing people. And another important factor, often ignored in the AI, will eliminate all jobs. Myth is that economics is not only about capability, but also about cost, regulation, culture, and trust. Because even if AI can technically perform a task, humans may still prefer dealing with real people in many situations such as healthcare, therapy, education, leadership, negotiation, law enforcement, politics, childcare, hospitality, and entertainment, since emotional connection and human empathy remain extremely valuable. And many societies will likely create laws and ethical boundaries around automation to protect workers and ensure accountability, especially in sensitive areas involving life-changing decisions. Because humans generally resist giving total control to machines in matters involving morality, justice, and safety. And one major misunderstanding about AI is the assumption that intelligence automatically equals wisdom or consciousness. But current AI systems do not truly understand the world like humans do because they operate through pattern prediction and data processing rather than genuine awareness, meaning they can make mistakes, hallucinate information, misunderstand context, or fail in unexpected situations, which is why human oversight remains essential across most industries. Even highly advanced AI systems still depend heavily on human-created data, infrastructure, electricity, maintenance, security, and strategic direction. So the idea of humans becoming entirely obsolete ignores the interconnected nature of technology and society. And another reason the myth gains popularity is because sensational headlines attract attention online, with media often exaggerating AI capabilities to generate clicks and fear, while businesses sometimes market AI as magical technology to attract investors, creating unrealistic perceptions among the public. But, in practice, most companies discover that implementing AI successfully requires extensive human involvement, training, monitoring, troubleshooting, and integration into existing systems. And many organizations actually struggle to automate tasks fully because real environments are messy, unpredictable, and constantly changing. Unlike controlled demonstrations shown online, and history also shows that humans adapt psychologically and culturally to technological change over time because new generations grow up with tools that once seemed terrifying, and what initially appears disruptive eventually becomes normal infrastructure. Just as smartphones transformed communication yet also created entirely new industries and social behaviors. And AI will likely become another layer of everyday life, integrated into work, rather than an unstoppable force that ends employment completely. Although there will absolutely be significant disruptions that governments, schools, and businesses must prepare for, because workers need opportunities to learn new skills and transition into emerging fields, and education systems may need major reforms to emphasize creativity, problem-solving, emotional intelligence, adaptability, collaboration, and digital literacy instead of memorization alone. Because future workers will increasingly collaborate with intelligent tools rather than compete directly against them. And the people most likely to succeed in the AI era may not necessarily be those with the highest traditional education, but those who learn continuously, adapt quickly, and combine human insight with technological tools effectively. Because AI rewards flexibility and innovation. And another critical point is that work itself may evolve rather than disappear, because societies could shorten work weeks, redefine productivity, or expand creative and service-oriented industries as automation handles more routine labor, meaning the future may involve humans working differently instead of not working at all. And many economists argue that productivity gains from AI could potentially increase wealth and living standards if managed fairly, although inequality could worsen if the benefits concentrate only among large corporations and wealthy individuals, making policy decisions extremely important in shaping the future impact of AI. Unemployment. Technology alone does not determine social outcomes. Humans do through laws, economic systems, education, and cultural values. And there is also the philosophical question of whether reducing certain forms of labor is necessarily negative, because throughout history humans have used tools to reduce physical hardship and increase efficiency, from farming equipment to washing machines to industrial automation. And in many cases, society benefited because people gained more time for education, creativity, family, science, and entertainment. So if AI removes boring, repetitive tasks that humans dislike, it could potentially improve quality of life rather than destroy it, provided societies manage the transition responsibly and ensure economic opportunities remain accessible. And it is important to remember that humans are not valuable only because of labor output, but because of consciousness, relationships, imagination, morality, and culture, qualities that cannot simply be replaced by algorithms. And even in highly automated futures, humans will still seek meaning, purpose, connection, and identity, which often emerge through collaboration, storytelling, leadership, exploration, and creativity. And these dimensions of existence remain deeply human, regardless of technological progress. And ultimately, the statement, AI will eliminate all jobs, is an oversimplified myth, because the future is not a simple battle between humans and machines, but a complex transformation where technology changes how society operates, creating both risks and opportunities. And while some jobs will disappear, many others will evolve or emerge, and the people, businesses, and nations that adapt intelligently will likely thrive in the AI era rather than become victims of it, because history repeatedly shows that humanity is remarkably capable of reinventing itself whenever powerful new technologies appear. And AI may become one of the greatest tools humans ever created, not because it replaces humanity, but because it amplifies human potential when used responsibly and creatively. If you like this video, please subscribe to my channel